Well, gents, welcome back. We're here. Michael, Jonathan, Carlos. This is our second show. I don't even think they're really a podcast. I just think we're just hanging out, conversations. Our first one went up, and we had zero expectations of really knowing like where this is going and what's what. We just know that we wanted to share these conversations for other men, young men, to basically know that like the things that they're going to be challenged with facing, it's something that's universal. There were a couple comments about being a new father, and one in particular, I don't have it on here, but I remember the guy said he's 23, he's just starting a new family, just became a father. And
well, congratulations.
Yeah. If you end up watching this again, and so
I gotta read the comments.
Yeah, so basically, he said new father, and that him stumbling on our video on YouTube really helped, And so I thought to myself, of course we're going to talk about a wide range of things over the course of these conversations, but I thought what better conversation to have for today than to share essentially our tips for new fathers and men that are just starting a family. Whether you're a young man, in your 20s, or hell, there's a lot of grown men that are starting families in their 40s.
True.
So for all of us, and we'll go down the line. Let's talk about our situation. So like anybody watching has some context in our kind of family dynamic. You want to start, John?
I have 8 kids, blended family, and I guess one small piece of advice I can give for new dads.
Well, hold on. Just set up for like where you're at in the parenting space. You got 8, 4 yours, 4 from
8 kids in total.
Right.
4 are mine, and my wife had 4, and then us together we had our 1, so that would make 5 for her. But in total we have 8, 6 girls, 2 boys. Oldest is 22, youngest is 4.
And you're married, so how long?
Married, 8, going on 8 years.
8?
8 years.
Has it really been 8 already?
Been 8, going on
Wow.
8 years, dude.
Time flies. I swear. That's crazy.
That's nothing. I've been in the family 23 years. I got 23
I'm
years.
still like,
so.
man, going on 8 years. Jeez.
Los, what's...
I got a 4 count. I got 4 kids. I've been with my wife. Like I said, that's their sister pretty much for 23 years. I mean, they've been knowing me since...
You're like childhood sweethearts, too.
Yeah, from high school. I've been in the family since I was 17 years old. I'm 41 years old now. So she's seen me at my knucklehead stages, through my trouble, trying to convert to a man stages, and now full-grown man, I can say, still learning. Because there's no book on this, man. You're learning every day, no matter what. You're either going to suffer from discipline or regret. Those are 2 things we suffer from as a man. Regret that, damn, I could have done things better, or the discipline that, I have to cut all this shit out my life, and, I want to become a better man,
So how long have you been married now?
Married, we're going on 16 years together, wow. 23 years.
Dang,
wow.
That's awesome.
That's
That's where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
And then there's me.
I'll drink some coffee to this one.
Yeah, I'm the odd one out here of the cool club. Never been married before. I was engaged at one point in my early 20s to a Jamaican girl who's he was the first love of my life. That didn't work. Since then, I've always been a anti-marriage person. I mean, you guys know something like that, all that, and everything. And I have 2 kids, a daughter and a son. 2 different women, and there's still a big plot twist on the first one.
That's a whole other show, though.
That's a whole other show for that one. Anyway, that being said, I've always had this mentality of like, I'll never get married. I'll never, mostly because, and again, this is another topic at some point we'll talk about, but the system is set up against men in terms of divorce courts, family courts, and all that stuff. And we'll say that for another time. But that was a lot of the reason for me. Like, nah, I'm not doing marriage because I don't want to go through that. I don't want to bust my ass all these years and accumulate stuff just to have half of that wiped away from me. That being said, I say all to say though that now I'm at a point where like I see it. Like I see the value in a marriage, having someone that is your ride or die, having someone that is truly a partner in life. Because life as a man is lonely, and I think now that I've tapped into like crossing over into my 40s now, that I don't want to be the 80-year-old guy in an assisted living home by myself. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like that. What are you laughing for?
You can have my basement. We'll look out for you.
You know, look out for me. I'll be the grumpy cousin in the.
You can have my garage.
Damn. I just like to keep you warm, bro. Put you in my
I mean,
basement.
hey, I can insulate it, give you space heater.
You're an asshole. I remember that. So, I wanted to preface all of that so that as we start talking about a family, I think as a man, you might fall within one of our scopes. You might have a blended family. You might have a long-term girl. You might be like me, where like you're a single father that's struggled with love in an actual. I haven't gotten to that point of like being married or being in a long-term serious relationship. So I think we're in a really good mixture of like what's out there, the pool of like what most men might find themselves in, and the baseline for all of us is that we're fathers.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the conversation that I
Baseline for all, we're all fathers, and we never planned for this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's-
don't think you ever do. I mean, few guys plan for this. let's be
no,
honest.
I don't think
Few
it-
guys are like, all right, baby, you ready? I'm about to knock them socks off. And
I
get
think
you
that's a
pregnant."
rarity, man. Like that's only in the movies.
Yeah.
I think we coming through the back
There's
door no matter what.
There's
you know?
no book or any other person that can give you the amount of advice or experience, knowledge that prepares you on
fatherhood.
just the whole aspect of what is a father. You can be prepared and buy all the necessities, as far as items that you need.
And have the income, right? Like I think it's a
You
big
know,
stress.
you can
for
have
us.
all of that, but at the end of the day, when the baby's here, newborn,
Yeah.
you're up every hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
What let me before you even go further, John. What because I really want us to share our tips. Before we get into the tips, though, what was? Let me ask you this: what was your initial biggest struggle with fatherhood? What was the single thing that was the hardest thing for you to either navigate or do or handle when you first became a father? So essentially, when you first kid, right? That's the biggest curves when you first.
I mean, my first babies were my twins. You guys know.
I remember that when we found out he's having twins. I was like, oh, that's his luck.
Yeah.
100%. Like his luck would be to have twins.
the first package.
The first one is the
There you
double
go.
whammy. Yeah.
The struggle with that was partnering with their mother. She was in school. Well, at the time she was working. Right when the twins were born, she chose to go back to school as well, full time. So, she had an expectation of, I'm going to leave it up to my parents to take care of them. I obviously was not in agreement with that. We chose to have these babies together. It's our responsibility, period. I don't in any way feel that it's okay to put the responsibility that is yours as parents on the grandparents, period. I understand, grandparents will help out here and there, but how I look at things, grandparents are technically the babysitters of your children. They're not the caretaker that the parents should be, so the first 9 months I stayed home and I took care of them.
So you were a stay-at-home dad.
I was a stay-at-home dad for 9 months.
And I remember at that point in your life, like you weren't at the point where you're at now financially either. You were still trying to figure it out. How old were you at the time the twins were born? Early 30s?
No, I was in my 20s.
Were you 20s?
Man,
Damn, time flies.
20.
And that's another point we'll talk about at some point about financial aspects of a
25,
man.
26,
Okay.
something around there.
Yeah. I had my first one at 26.
I was 21.
Yeah.
Yep, a little young.
I remember that. You know why I remember that? Because when we found out Amanda was pregnant.
I was the first hit to the family. Everybody's like, "Oh no, Mandy's pregnant."
Yeah.
She was
And
the
that's
first.
the first thing I'm like.
She was the first fuck up.
I remember,
who's this guy, Carlos?
I remember my mom told me, I was like, I'm gonna beat this motherfucker's ass. Because I didn't even know.
I was waiting for the
I
date to meet you too, because I heard about Michael in the military. I was like, here we go. There's always that one fucking cousin or something, one brother. Like, and
No, I was
thank
never-
God it never went that way.
I
You know?
was, nah.
It never went that way. I stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, I met you, and I, you know, I distinctly remember like, all right, bro, I think as a man, I think most men have that ability to kind of get a sense of someone's kind of like character when you meet them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I remember we met. I ain't gonna lie. I think we met and we shook hands. Gave me a nice firm handshake. I'm like, all right, at least he ain't a little bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't like lip wrist me. Like that. And yeah, he was cool. And I actually never had any ill will. It was like, man. So I'm like, at that point, I was like, he about to be a father to my niece or nephew. I'm like, so,
No, I mean, it was a big something that changed my life for shit. I was 17 years old, a knucklehead, trying to figure it out, and I had two choices: either keep on going the way I'm going and raise my kid in this shitty environment, or change. So I decided to change, you know, and like I said, that's when, you know, I personally asked his parents, Jonathan's parents, to move in with them at the time, and I think I said it in the last episode, they asked me why. I was like, because, you know, their kids went to schools and all that stuff, and my family I was the first one who graduated high school, so I remember his father and told me, well, you have to go to school or you have to work. I did both. I worked a full-time job as a door mechanic. I was installing revolving doors, learning all that trade and stuff like that, Herculite doors, automatic sliding doors, and I went to school at night for electrical. You know, and that's how I changed my life. Just kept on going every day, one day at a time, and time flies, you know. Then I had my daughter. The first one was a boy. Had my daughter, and then once the girl comes, it's over with, man. Like, you know, how as a man can you leave two kids, especially a little girl in this world, and not be present, you know? They're going to have to grow on their own and figure things out. I couldn't live with that, so I vowed no matter what happens, to always be in my kids' lives, no matter what. And I actually made a personal pact with myself when my son was born to, you know, stay completely faithful to my wife no matter what, you know, because it's the man's job to stay there. Once you mess up and once you leave, guess what? You just added to your kid's life. You open up the door for any possibilities that they can go fuck up now. You know, you're not there. You know, you're not there. You don't know what the woman's going to do now. And despite she can, you know, she'll find another love, you know, or move on. And then those kids have to deal with that new scenario. So as men, we play a dominant, you know, in a role that no one even talks about, but we're the key piece, man.
Crucial.
We're the key piece, man. And as men, we throw it away sometimes and shit, you know. And it's hard. It ain't easy, man. That's cutting your friends out. That's cutting everything out, you know. And it's the hardest thing to do.
Just to kind of piggyback off that, you're talking about being selfless.
You have to be
You gotta be
selfless.
And
That's when you start becoming a man, when you become selfless.
Yeah.
That's part of being the man. It's not about you no more. It's not about how good you look, your weekly haircuts, your gym shoes, none of that stuff, man. You're giving all that stuff away. It's kids got to eat, bills got to get paid, you know, we got to move forward. You guys have dreams together, and we got to start knocking this out the park, but it's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, that's been the selfless part has been an area that I'm currently on my journey to, work through. I've had a very selfish life in my careers and whatnot. And I've certainly paid the price for that. And so for me, it's definitely, yeah, I agree that's a part that doesn't get talked about enough, which is being selfless, and doing what you can for your kids. Now, it's not to say that, just be honest too, that not every not every situation is going to allow you a man to be with the mother for a variety of reasons.
No, I mean,
it might not work.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't work,
Right.
man. You know, but you still have to find that relationship where it's gonna work. You know, like we might not be good together, but we at least have to be friends for just for the kid.
Yeah, to some extent, you
To some extent, you have to have a relationship no matter what. I mean, and I'm pretty sure in your aspect, Jonathan, you have a okay relationship with the twins' mom, but then you got an aspect where you don't even see one of the kids because the mom's just trying to drag you through the system, and you're currently fighting that now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you really have all aspects of it. Like
Every
Carl said.
angle of it.
You got every angle. You got the loving wife. You've got the, you've had challenges with your first twins' mother and stuff like that. But then for the other baby mama, she's just completely evil, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even care if she watches. I'm saying it. You're evil. I really don't care. It's not him saying it. That's me.
It's like, don't play the game. You're not hurting him. You're hurting the kid.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, the kid's getting hurt because, the father, no matter what, we want to be dads. We don't know. There's no book out here. There's no right or wrong way. It's the same thing that goes for the women. There's no right or wrong way. I mean, we always get tossed in the bag of we're pieces of crap, but what about the women sometimes? It's like,
Oh, there's definitely garbage moms. There's garbage dads. I mean,
100%.
There's no I don't think there's any argument in that regard. But for you, Los, what was initially that hardest part when you first became a father? I don't think you answered that, did you?
Well, the hardest part was just letting go of my lifestyle and who I was back then. Like I said, I was just a knucklehead hanging out on the streets a lot. Thought I was making great money on the streets, just that whole little bullshit lifestyle. And then it was kind of hard. The first 6 months, I didn't know what to do. Okay, I got this kid in the world, he's mine. At the time, Amanda was living with her parents and stuff, and I was living at home with my grandparents, and I wanted to change. I'm like, am I gonna start bringing my kid to the neighborhood? Like this is gonna be the cool thing now? Dress the kid up just like me, put the same style shoes, and we're gonna go hang out in the neighborhood? I couldn't see that happening, So I just started I'm just gonna leave everything alone and just start changing. And I did, one day at a time. And I remember I told you the other day that we passed by our first apartment that we had and stuff, and it was kind of like nostalgic. It just seemed like, damn, this is where we first started. We only had one kid. Now we got four, and it's like that one kid, he knew me when I was a young kid. So now that he's 19 going on 20, he knew me at my faults. He knew me at the growing up part. And the cool thing is I can sit down with him as an adult and we speak like men. Hey, son, this is what I'm going through. And he tells me vice versa. I got a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old's getting the true daddy, the dad. That's the true dad. She really don't see the faults. She really don't see the screw ups that I've been. She got the better version of me, and so does my 12-year-old. It's like, all right, well, I never heard that story about dad, but but my first two, yeah, they got some stories and they seen dad in some bad times and stuff, but it's all growing, man.
Yeah.
Different versions of yourself, no matter what.
Yeah, I think for me, the first initial shock of being a parent when I became a father, my daughter, I was 26, and at this point, I was like hustling on that cusp of making a name for myself as a up and coming like DJ and all of that, and so I actually my challenge was like the financial part of it, like because I wasn't like established yet. 26, I'm still figuring that all out. I wasn't in the career just yet. I was trying to work towards it, and it just so happened that my daughter was born September 1st, and October of 2009, same year, a month later, I got my big break on radio. And so now I'm a parent and started my career, and I'm running them both in parallel. And that to me was like, looking back on it, it was so much pressure, because I got this new career just started in radio. I can't mess this up. I gotta dedicate the time. I gotta put in the work, but I also gotta be a parent. And there was, I think for me, I certainly have a lot of regrets because you know, you're in that struggle of like, I gotta provide, I gotta make money to put food on the table and like take care of her, pay for stuff she got to take care of. At the time, her mother and I were together trying to figure that out. But the pressure, and I think that's an area of fatherhood, especially being a new father, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel I gotta get my money up, or I just gotta make sure I keep getting my money
Yeah.
because I got Pampers, formula, daycare. Oh my God, bro!
Yeah.
I remember dishing out damn near a mortgage at some point. You know, 12 back then anyway. Like it was you know, back then what was a normal mortgage like 12, 13, 1400 a month
Yeah.
for daycare. So all that financial pressure for me was the hardest part early on. Of like, yo, man, like I really got to get out here and get on my shit. Like I really got to put it together to
I
be
mean,
able to.
there is pressure, but there's nothing more beautiful than seeing that little thing when you go through all that pressure of life and you get home.
Yeah.
And you see that little bundle of joy there. There's no better thing, no better feeling, man. You know, especially when they get to run around the house, you know, and they run up to you. You know, man, they don't give a shit what you went through that day. It's dad's home. What's daddy? You know, that's priceless, man.
No, it really is.
You know, and I still see them all that way. You know, even they're growing up and stuff. I still look at them the same way. It's like, well, there's good days and there's bad days, you know. But you guys are my why. This is why, you know, I keep on going, and that's it.
I'm not gonna lie. The hard part is, you know, I got my 5-year-old. He still is at the age where it's like daddy and hugging and all that. The 15-year-old teenager, boy, you can't pay her to give you a
Oh,
hug
hell
and
no.
stuff.
No.
So for me, it's hard because I remember back.
But
when she was little,
you do have those moments though. Then they come sporadically, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and you know, and they feel it. It's like a heartfelt moment because I have the 15-year-old too. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and
Well, our
you know,
daughters are like this. So.
exactly. You know, born a couple months apart,
Yep.
same year and stuff. So it's like, you know, my daughter's a tough cookie too. But there's days where when dad does look out for her, and she looks at me and she gives me that eye, like with the thank you in her eyes, like.
Yeah.
You know, and those are like, I always tell her, I told you, I'm always looking out for you no matter what. That's my job.
I think being a father is being a involved father, right? I want to be clear on this. You know, being an actual involved
Present.
father, present father. Yes, I think it's 100% a thankless, not say job, but it's a thankless thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I say that in terms of like, there's an expectation as a father you just do these things, but as we all know, not every man does that. Some
No.
guys are like, I'll be a child support daddy, or I'll just show up when I want to show up, or I'm just gonna.
Or there's
completely
fathers out
abandon-
there that think that just because they'll buy the good clothes, the shoes, everything, I pay for everything. I'm a father.
Right.
That's it. That's how we talk raising versus
Teaching.
you know, teaching.
Right, and that was a good point.
Money's not about it. You know what I'm saying? Love is everything.
Yeah,
It's the love you pour out, you know, into your kids, the knowledge you pour out that you don't think they're listening. And then when you see your older kid go out into the world and you get feedback from different people like, man, your son's just like you. His work ethic is great. You know, he's very respectable, you know. That makes you feel good as a parent, you know, because I have an older son now that goes out into the world and he presents himself and, you know, and I get the feedback of like, good job. It's like, for what? Oh, he said thank you. He said, I'm like, okay, he's supposed to do that, but a lot of kids don't do that.
a lot. Yeah. I mean, I think we all know that a lot of young men lack a father figure in their life. They lack a positive male role model. They lack guidance from a male mentor.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's something that we as men in general need more of. And you know, I know that in the online world, you have the manosphere, you have the red pill space, you've got the Tates of the world, you've got the Fresh and Fits of the world, and you know, in some regards, some of the things they say, I don't disagree with, right? Like you should be taking care of your physical, you should get in the gym, work on yourself,
100%.
stay active, and stuff like that. Anyway, I said it to say though that like, you know, being a father is certainly thankless. You're just kind of expected to do what you got to do, but I don't think that, at least especially in today's culture, that present fathers are celebrated enough. You know, for not just financially providing, but for pouring into their children, their values, their morals, their everything. You know. And so kind of bringing the conversation back to those fathers, new fathers that may be watching this. So this is really a conversation for any man that's about to be a father. You got one on the way. You already just had one. Want to share, now that we kind of had our conversation about our experiences, some kind of brief overview of it. Like what can we offer them that they can take away and like help them in their new journey as a family man, as a new father? What comes to mind?
If I can take it back with the knowledge that I have now and the experience that I've gone through, as a new father, I would really sit down and try to envision the future with, the girl you have, your girl or your kid, and envision where you want to be at. Write that down, because once you start writing things down, it now exists in this world. And that's something my son brought to my attention, because we talk about goals and future stuff, and he asked me, do you ever write things down? I was like, no. He's like, you should start writing it down, because once you write it down, and now it exists in this world. So, that's something that my son brought back to my attention, 19 years later. But as a young father, I would just try to just visualize a life. Just, all right, if you don't have the career now, what kind of career do you want? If you have to go to school, start doing it. Start working towards that goal, and consistency. Consistency is the key, man, to anything. Stay constant on it, and stay focused on it. I mean, you're going to have to cut off your whole old lifestyle. Your homies are going to get pissed because you're not hanging out no more. Everything's going to change for you. But what matters is creating that foundation for yourself, You can cut a lot of that shit out just by focusing and writing that stuff down, because if you want to go through it, it's going to be a rigorous journey, man. The ups and downs, your girl's nagging because you're hanging out. You don't know how to let that go. Your financials going like this because you're spending money hanging out and not saving and not putting towards your futures and stuff. I did all that dumb stuff, I went through all of it, Could have let it go. It was hard. I just didn't cold turkey up. Everything got to go. No, man. Through having kids, it's like, all right, I'm not doing that again. That's affecting this. I'm tired of pissing her off, so let's let's tie this up.
That's a big motivating factor. Don't piss her off.
Exactly. Just keep it good, because you're gonna piss her off. You're just pissing yourself off, because guess what? Now you're pissed off now.
Right. Yeah.
So it's always gonna come full circle to yourself. If there's something that you don't like about her, you don't like about your kids, go look in the mirror. That means you don't like nothing about yourself. That's self-reflection, because they become you, no matter what. The women, they adapt to us. They become us.
Your children become a
we're constantly living with each other, and the dominance, whatever dominance is going to win. Vice versa, you can have a dominant woman, you're going to become her. So whatever you don't like in your family, go look in the mirror. If you don't like something about that woman, you don't like something about your kids, go look at yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, I caused that. Mm-hmm. She's putting her faith into me. Every day she's having her faith into me, and then I don't like this about her. Well, that's something I'm creating then. And once I learned that helped me a lot in life. It taught me how to respect my kids, respect my wife. Just sometimes take 2 steps back, put their shoes on right quick. How do they feel about the situation? How do they see it? And that gives me a lot of perspective on, all right, cool. I'm not just gonna come out and be like, oh, I understand it now. No, it gives me the intellect to be like, all right, well, I'm gonna start moving differently now, because I need them to move differently. It's being a captain of the boat, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're talking about leading the family.
Yeah, and sometimes you just can't come out and say it, though. You have to, with action.
Yeah.
Pulling the strings here and there.
Sometimes I got to nudge. Sometimes it can't be. You don't want to be like the Hitler of your home.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, you can't.
It's not going to go well with most women. It's not going to
respect, man. Respect. That's it.
You got to. I think it's a testament to it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Exactly.
To get your partner, your girl to.
Yeah, you can't think I'm a man. Hey, I said do this. Yeah, good luck, buddy.
Yeah. What about you, John? What would be something you would offer?
Sacrifice. You have to be sacrificial in everything that you do. Once your child comes into your life, it's not about you anymore, like Carlos said.
Yeah.
It's not about you. Your wants, your desires is your children's wants and desires and needs. Plain and simple. It's hard to, see where you want to be in the future in 10 years or anything like that, because things always change.
100%.
You know, scenarios always going to change. You know, at the beginning, through it all, and at the end, the father, the man, you just have to be willing. Simple. You have to be willing to make those sacrifices when it makes you uncomfortable, when you're too tired,
Yeah.
when you just don't want to do it. That makes you a better father. What you choose to instill in yourself is going to flow into your child. You know, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be pretty. You're not always going to get along with the mother. You're always going to bump heads to agree to disagree. But always come, you know, to whatever point, wherever you are with the mother, if you're together or not, and be willing to work. Being a parent requires work, mother and a father. It requires sacrifice every single day. And in that, that's that beautiful thing,
Yeah.
is that knowing that you can work together. There is no, I don't believe in that, 50-50. Bullshit. Ain't no such thing as 50-50. Whatever you got to give, if your wife is able to only do some, you know, do this amount, or your girlfriend, all right, cool. That means you got to put in the rest. Don't expect, but without the expectation of, what am I going to get? No.
Yeah, honey, I washed the dishes. I
No.
threw the garbage out. What's
No,
up?
because at the end of the day, when you chose,
Throwing that little dress out of like.
What's up?
when you chose to have a child, you that was your decision right then and there.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. There is no room for excuses, because it's not that baby's fault that you are not financially stable, or you're not prepared, or you don't know what to do. As men, we have to figure it out.
Yeah.
We have to figure it out. Plain and simple. It might not be beautiful, you know, comfortable for us to always try to figure it out, but you know what? It's not about us. What are we willing to sacrifice to be a dad, to be a husband?
Yeah.
You know, what are we willing to do? Are we willing to, I'm only going to do this amount, but, you know, I need free time to myself because I deserve some of my time, you know, some peace and quiet. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Right?
You know, and listen, on that real quick, not to cut you off, but like at a certain point, as a man, you will need a decompression point. Like, I would say, like, I 100% agree with everything you're saying, but there is a point in which I need as a man to hit my reset. Let me catch my breath for a second, and I'll right back into it.
Yeah.
You need those little occasional. When I say breaks, I mean it's not like you completely disconnected, like you're out the house for like a week or something. I'm just like, you might need, like, you know what? If your girl like, babe, don't worry about it. I got everything tonight. Little night off. Go relax. Go watch the game. Something that's simple. And look, we as men, it don't take much for us to be like, damn, that was a nice gesture. You know, like if whether it's your wife or your girl decides to make your favorite meal that night, or if she's like, babe, don't trip. I got it. I'll take care of the laundry, or I'm going to go do that for you. A little for us goes such a long way because we're so used to doing the brunt of the work. I'm happy if my girl like, oh, don't worry, I'll go pick that up for you at the store. You don't have to go drive. I'll go get it while I'm out. Oh shit, thank you. I guess for me, one of my love languages is acts of service. So anything that someone that I care for does, simply out of the generosity of her heart, just because she was thinking about me, oh, I'm gonna do this. And I'm not talking about extravagant shit. That you know, but the little things, man. Like, I think that helps in what you're saying. Is like, we're going through it. Let me get just a little bit of a breathing room just to catch my breath. Boom, I'm right back up in it, doing what I got to do. And otherwise it will drain you. It will drain you. There's been plenty of times, I don't know if you guys felt this, but there's plenty of times where I'm like, yo, like, as a father, I feel like it's wearing on me, you know, like, because there's so much.
You get fried.
You get fried. You're mentally fried. You're cooked. and you're like, yo, how am I gonna get through today? Like I'm so mentally, I can't even like think because there's so much stuff. I'm juggling the career. I got the child situation going on, and then if things ain't right with the mother or your girl's a little friction there, you're like, yo, bro, I'm about to go jump into the lake.
Yeah.
You know, it get overwhelming.
Outlets. You got to find different.
You got to
outlets.
find an outlet. Yeah, you
Like
got to
for
find.
me,
an
for a lot
outlet.
of years, my outlet was working. I'll work my tail off, man. Like,
And you want to find the right outlet,
Yeah.
positive outlet. You know,
Productive one. Yeah.
not going out there and doing dumb shit. You know, where it's I'm good for next couple of hours, and once reality sets back in, you're back to feeling the same way you were when you got there. Mm-hmm. You know.
Oh, you can take it for me. That for me, that was going and finding some chick
You know.
and just indulging for the night.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you know, and then next day I'm like, well, I just woke up and I feel the same way I felt before I even did that.
That void is
I'm
still there.
The void is still there. Yep, 100%. What I would say to any new father, family man, and I'm going to take more of a direct kind of a tip here for you guys. Those first 2 years are going to be tough. It's your first child. You're dealing with your first. You don't have no prior parenting skills, so it's your first child, and more than likely, if it's your girl's first child, so you're both are learning as you go how to be parents. The child, the first 2 years need a tremendous amount of attention. More than that, but I would say the first two specifically need all the attention. They can't do nothing for themselves. You gotta attend to them 24/7. What I would say for any man in this situation, you're gonna need a lot of patience and take care of your girl. And what I mean by take care of your girl is this woman has birthed your child. Her body has gone through a tremendous amount of changes. She might have been a size 5 before. Now she's a size 11.
Yep.
She's going to feel very insecure. You need to ensure that you are showing her love, bro.
Love her the same way she was
Love
before she got pregnant.
Right. And make her feel loved. She might be going through postpartum, which is a motherfucker. That's and she's gonna be very hormonal. My best advice, one of them that I'm gonna give today, is be tentative to her, be patient with her, and just verbally remind her of that you love her. Tell her she's beautiful. Make time to go out on the date. We have the
100%.
babies.
Yeah.
You gotta ask grandma, grandpa.
Let the village come in.
Yeah.
Allow your village.
We need a date night.
Yeah. Don't be an app parent. Oh, it's time to feed the kid because the app said or this. No, listen to your grandmas, listen
the
to your
phone
moms, the aunties. Like, let the village help you raise these kids, man. They know.
Yep. Let them do that. Go take yourselves out on a nice little evening, a little dinner. Go get a little hotel room for the night where you can just spend time alone away from the home.
That's it.
A little bit of those things goes a long way in changing up the scenery.
It's a reset.
It's a reset. And I promise you that will help out tremendously in those first 2 years until your girl gets back on track. She starts, getting over postpartum. Maybe she starts getting back into the gym, working on her body again, perhaps, or whatever. Just it'll help you through all of that, And I think it's also part of being the family man. You're trying to glue everything together, and I think that what I said right there helps in doing that. Keeping things tight and stuff like that.
Keep it type shit.
Yeah, and I think the other one kind of tied into it too is you got to be not just present, but you got to be participating in the raising of that newborn. You gotta change Pampers too at 2 a.m. You need to feed them at 3 a.m. You can't just let it all on her. And I know it's a little, that situation is a little case by case because some mothers will breastfeed, so it's not like you can really do much. She's gonna have to get up regardless. But still get up with her and just keep her company while she's feeding your child, and then you guys go back to sleep. Don't let it all sit on her, right? It's gonna wear on her, and she's gonna be stressed, and it's gonna stress you out.
100%.
So if you help her out along the way, bro, it's gonna make things a lot more easier. She's gonna recognize that you're being involved, and I think that's gonna help. I'm not saying that shit won't be staticky because you're there's gonna be one day where you're stressed, she's stressed, the baby got y'all stressed, and it just happens to be one of those days.
The cool thing is now when we all go home, we're, the wives are gonna be like, "Hey, what's up? You talking all that good stuff? This is due. This is due. I got this honey to-do list." Yeah. So we're putting ourselves on the hook right now.
Don't worry, I'll be crying myself on my loner life right now.
But that's where do I really got to do that? Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
I love to cook. I'm always in the kitchen. Y'all know that. So that's where I shine. My wife don't have to worry. I mean, we cook together. I mean, that's the cool thing. It's like there's no words in the kitchen. We're just around each other, throwing this in the pot, throwing that in the pot, and we throw down. So that's like a little something we share as well. So cleaning and stuff. I help out too. But I got daughters. There's just 3 of them. So and me and my son, we get the bathroom, the most nastiest part. So that's all
them hairs.
Yep, and it's not all our hairs, all that. But you know what? On the exchange, we'll take the hardest part, and that's it. Y'all do what you got to do. I cook, so there goes the house.
What's some other tips you would give for some new fathers? Something they need to know. That
Something cool, because we've been scaring the shit out of them. Like,
well, I mean, but it's reality. Like you can't sugarcoat it.
It has to be real. It has to be unfiltered. 20, 30 years ago is a completely different, compared to now with this new generation, right?
Yeah.
This
We
new
talking about parenting?
parenting.
Yeah,
entirely.
Totally different. I mean, I remember we were growing up. We on the streets till dark.
We were out acting like fools. We knew when to be home, or we were gonna reap the.
Or you would just stay at your friend's house. It was all good. Oh, you're gonna stay at your friend's house all night? All right, cool. Now,
yeah,
I'm
no one Hispanic as hell. You ain't sleeping. You're not even sleeping over your cousin's house. Put it like that. That's how.
No.
That's how we were raised.
That's a whole other conversation. But, yeah, I think in terms of raising your child, I think for sure limiting their tablet time.
That's when they're older.
Yeah, it's older. Yeah,
Well, no, that's the thing going on now, man.
they're starting them young.
YouTube and everything is raising our kids pretty much.
Bro, my 5-year-old knows who Actual Speed is. He knows who Queso is. I know you probably know who that is, but
it also comes, obviously COVID. How many of our kids had to stay home for school and home all day?
yeah, my 5-year-old's a COVID baby because he was
COVID
stuck
baby
inside.
too.
COVID,
Yeah.
we all got COVID babies.
With mine, I transitioned to homeschooling as well, so that's a big challenge.
But
That's a whole nother.
for new fathers, is bringing a baby into this world is automatically going to bring different levels of stress,
It's a blessing.
irritants.
It's a
It's a
blessing.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, but it is. But let's not. I like what you're
Because-
saying. Go ahead, say it because I know what you're saying. Go ahead.
There is no manual. There's no manual on, man, how should I be? What's gonna happen? There's no manual.
The best version you can be, bro. And that's it.
And that's where, being the father, being, the husband, being the man, it is our responsibility to take as much of that stressful load, right, from the mom. She's making the sacrifice, 1, carrying the baby for 9 months. 2, now she's got to go through more stress having to push the baby out unless she takes a C-section, which is, again, it's still...
They're pretty invasive, yeah.
It's, it's still a big hit, to the mom.
Yeah.
Now, depending on the mom, if she wants to, breastfeed or use formula, that's up to the mother,
And then breastfeeding also has another impact on her body.
So it's like...
too, yeah.
There's a lot that the mother is sacrificing physically of her body. We as the men, as the fathers, we got to take whatever else that load is. There is no debating about it. There is no questioning. No, we have to. We have to, because you're not just doing the responsibility of a dad, you're also doing the responsibility of a husband or a boyfriend, right? You have to. That's the sacrifice. You can't be selfish. Well, the baby's here, you know, whatever, do your thing.
Baby's crying. You hear it, but you still stay,
you know,
kind of like you're sleeping.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, just because you and you know your mother, or you know, or the mother or your baby mama aren't really vibing at that moment, don't give you the right to walk out that door. You know, just because you're annoyed, hey, you know what? Kick rocks, tough shit. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know, simple. We can't make excuses. When we start to make excuses, then we start to implement those excuses every single day in our lives.
Well, we're back to sacrifice. Sacrifice
You
who
know?
you were to become something new
And
again.
when you are that present father and are willing to make the sacrifices for your children will become a product of their environment. Not just being raised, but also being taught. You know?
Yeah.
There's no manual. It don't matter how much advice you can receive from other family members. Do this, do that, do this. It might have worked with them. It might not work with you.
Yeah.
What they experienced, whatever advice that they might given you, and you have to do this. It might not work with you.
Yeah.
You know, your lifestyle, your work style, whatever it is.
Just I think just your general parental philosophy could be at base. I mean, I distinctly remember what you're saying. You know, my mom do this. I'm like I'm not doing that. Like my mother and I have totally different. She's a different era. She's a boomer. So you know, like.
So then once again, I tied into your guys' family, and I let your mom do whatever with my kids.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you got that.
Well,
Because I respect their moms. They know. Like,
for me,
go ahead.
For me, it was more of like, you know, Michael, you should do this, and this is how you should do that. I'm like, well, no, like that's not how I want to parent. You know, so
Like I said,
you got to find your parenting style. And
Yeah.
I think that'd be another tip I would offer a new father is you got to
and
find.
that
you
has
gotta-
changed drastically in this
Yeah.
time of age.
There's
like
a
I
cultural
said.
thing now, societal
Yeah.
thing, but man, just find what your parental kind of philosophy is going to be. Are you going to be hands on? Are you going to be kind of hands off? And what I mean by that is, some parents can be very on top of their kids, almost like a micromanager. Some can be a little bit more laid back, where you let them figure. You're there to support, but like you're letting them make a mistake. You're letting them kind of figure it out, and then as they get stuck, you help them through it, right? I think these are like those little aspects of like how you're going to be a parent, what philosophy you're going to adapt to parent your children. Are you going to let them learn through mistakes and then be there to guide them, or are you going to be there to like? My mom was very much like, she didn't want me to make mistakes. She would tell me, "Don't do it because it's going to happen." Listen, well, I need to learn.
Yeah.
So very different.
You learn in your failures.
Yeah, you certainly do, and I think not to veer off into like a tangent of like modern parenting, which is like participation trophies. No one can fail. Everyone's got to be a fucking winner.
Oh hell no.
You gotta lose. You gotta lose. Some of my best successes have come from my failures. And me
100%.
learning from failing in a business venture, or that I came up off that, I grew from that, and I think, again, veering off a little bit off topic here, but failing helps your success, I think. But yeah, I think you definitely need to find out again what your parenting style is going to be like, what your parenting philosophy is, and the hard part here too is you got to make sure that it meshes with your girl, with your wife, your woman.
True.
You got to make sure that like how you want to approach parenting is how she wants to do it, and if not, y'all got to figure out that compromise.
Yeah.
How are you going to discipline? Do you believe in the belt if they act up, or do you believe in soft parenting? These are all the things that you got to really discuss, preferably before you even have a child. Because if you have a child, now if they do something so egregious and you're in there like, oh, you about to catch a whooping. Moms might not agree with that, and that's going to cause a big friction in home. So you got to have these conversations with your partner on these parenting things. And I don't think no one thinks about that part.
No.
No one thinks
right
about
now,
that
I'm
part.
going through my mind like, damn, what did I do? Just
No one thinks about that part when they're having a kid. They think
is there
about
still time to adjust on this? Like, damn, I might have screwed up on that corner.
Have those conversations. They're going to be tough, and just go down the list. Okay, if our children are in trouble, how are we going to handle that? What if X, Y, Z happens? How are we going to handle that? So that you have a general sense of like where your wife or your woman's mind is at in terms of all these various things that come up. You know, how we're going to handle these situations. Because what you don't want to do, inevitably it's going to happen, is be in the moment and then figure it out right there when something actually happened, and now you guys got to react to it and parent through it, and you're not even on the same page, man. It's I'm telling you, I'm sure you guys maybe know this already, you've been through it. It causes a lot of stress, bro. Oh, it's so stressful. You're like, bro, I'm ready to just, I ain't gonna lie. There's times where I felt like I'm ready to walk away from this shit. You feel that, right? Like, I'm not saying you would, but like in your mind, you're like, oh, I'm just about to leave.
I just think different scenarios. Like when my kids came into this world, it was like the first kid on both sides. So it was the family was just all wanting hands-on, all wanting to be a part of it. So it was like where we feel that we lacked, someone was picking it up for us, and
we were all a part of,
No, exactly. It was it was something new, exciting.
We were all there.
So I guess it didn't, for me, one side didn't tug more than the other side. So it was just like, we sat back a little bit like, all right, well, we know our job. We're going to do our job, but we know there's aunts involved, there's grandmas involved. Like, we have everybody in our corner and stuff, and we were blessed with that. We were blessed to grow these kids away. And we still raise our kids the same way, Your mom's a big part of my kids' lives. Mm-hmm. Your mom's grandma. So it's like, and that does not stop. They're always no matter what. Like, and my kids know, like, they got the right to slap your ass in the mouth too. Like, don't get funny. They know that, and it's all respect though, man. No matter what, I know some families can pull to one side, like, oh, my son had this kid and now he's with the wife, or my daughter had this kid and now he's with the husband's family, and I barely get to see it, And that's what goes on a lot too, man. So that's where it comes back to you, is like, figure out what you guys want to do first, and everybody should find the respect in that.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. I think you kind of said it without saying it, which is when you're a new parent, you also gotta like set those boundaries with your family, because they can potentially come in and start telling you what to do, how you should parent. Yeah. So I think that, and this could be from either side of the family, the mother's side or your side.
100%.
So you gotta be locked in with your girl, your wife, to be like, yo, how are we gonna handle when family want to interject and, oh, you should be doing this for your child, or you should put your child in this school, or because they're all inevitably gonna make those comments about what they think you should be doing for your child. And if you don't have like a solid plan, if you're not on the same sheet with your girl, that's gonna cause friction between y'all for sure.
Yep.
And I think that's another tip that.
So just backing each other up and respecting each other.
You gotta hold it. Yeah, you gotta really be locked in with your girl and be like, look, this is what we're gonna do. Are we committed to this? And we ain't gonna let even our family sway what our plans are and how we envision raising our children. And it's not to say that like you can't take their advice under.
No, you can take the advice, but there's some mothers like
that are very like.
Yeah,
like
what you mean? Yeah, I've been feeding you this since you're. What do you mean?
You're talking about my mother all day. Yeah, that's my mother. My mother was the very or heavy-handed, like, do it like this. Like,
no, mom, and then the wife can get pissed or something.
There is no wrong or right way to perfection. There's hundreds of ways to make things work. Yeah. There isn't always going to be the right way. There isn't, always going to be the wrong way. Whatever way you decide to go, make sure your partner is there with you.
Yep. Consistency.
Do it together. You guys make a mistake, make that mistake together.
Exactly.
Pick each other up. Give each other the reassurance that, you each require and need, right? The reassurance to the mother, I obviously after just giving birth. The reassurance to the father, hey, you know what? Yeah, it is hard. It's okay. I'm here with you. I'm doing it with you. It's a partnership. Plain and simple. It's not going to be perfect. Is it going to be beautiful? Yeah. Is it going to be ugly sometimes? Yeah. That's okay. That's normal. If you're kind of going through the process and you're already saying, oh, it's perfect. We don't argue. We don't fight. You're in for something else. You're always going to be in that area to agree to disagree, and that's okay. What matters is whatever decisions going forward whatever the work that requires that's involved, you're doing it together. Simple. We as humans, we overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. You know?
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
That's it. Simple. You know?
You know, one thing as you were saying that came to my mind that I think I'm going to offer this as probably one of my last tips, unless you guys got something else to add to it. But one thing that I would say to new fathers, new family men, and this is something that I kind of carry as guilt. That again, the reason why I'm mentioning this is as a tip here. Every chance that you have to spend with your child, spend with your family to make those memories together, do it. And one of my biggest regrets, especially with my daughter, because I was chasing my career at the same time in parallel, I missed a lot. And believe it or not, and I know you guys can attest to this, you blink 3 times and your newborn is now 15.
Mm-hmm.
It goes that fast.
Yep.
Not even joking. If you can get the day off of work to attend the recital, if you could blow a sick day to go be at the family cookout, if you can do whatever, you get a friend to swap shifts to be a part of something that's more of like an event thing or just something that you know you should be at for the holiday, make the sacrifice to be there so you can have those memories, because that's something that I think in retrospect, I think about like, damn, man, I missed out on so much, you know, on this recital or this moment, da-da-da. Sure, I got the picture sent to me or I got the video I was able to see, but it ain't the same as being there
present,
in the
yeah.
moment and the present, and also your child seeing you there.
Yeah.
And I think perhaps, honestly, this might be my number one tip as a father, new father. Don't miss out on those moments, man. It'll eat at you. I think you'll get to a point, especially when they get older and when they're not as up on your face as much. They're a teenager and they're adults and they're not hugging you as much anymore. They're not saying they love you as much anymore. You know they love you, but like they're not expressing it. You'll look back at it and be like, damn, I you know, like my 15-year-old, I often look back like, damn, I missed her when she was 3. I missed her when she was at 5. You know, I love her to death now. Don't get me wrong, you know, don't mistake that. But like, I miss those younger years where she said, "Daddy," and ran into my arms. You know, you'll never get that back. You know, and so anytime that you can get those, take the time off or whatever to be there for those moments, do it. And I don't think you want to live with that regret of missing out on it. And sure, there are gonna be times where you just absolutely can't. But, you know, what I'm saying is when you can.
Let you being there outweigh the days you can't.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That will 100% be like my number one. You don't want to miss out, man. Time flies. It's crazy.
Exactly.
It really does.
Yeah. Once you bring a baby in, you know, into the world, yeah, man, that requires money. Babies aren't cheap.
Yeah.
You know, they're not cheap. They require clothes, just like we need clothes, formula, Pampers, wipes.
The first 3 years suck financially because, one, they're growing so fast, so you buy clothes and then it goes right out the door.
And that's it.
You know, because they outgrew it already.
It doesn't stop though.
You know,
when they start joining sports, when they start getting into all that
So
stuff,
that's
you know,
it's where it's like
you're gonna go spend $120 on a pair of Cleto Reyes boxing gloves. You know, $120 on a pair of some boxing shoes.
And that's
know?
why I said, like, you know, fathers, men that want to be fathers, talk about those things.
Yeah.
Talk about those things. Don't just allow yourself, oh, I want to be a dad. Are you ready? Are you in the position to really provide for a child? If you're struggling to provide for yourself, you know, and the woman that you're with, are you ready to bring another child into this world? You know?
Yeah. Not saying it's not possible, but I think the idea is you want to give yourself the best advantage possible going into it.
You know, because you don't want your struggles to then become the baby struggles, right? You want to give that baby everything you possibly can. You don't want them to be raised in the struggle, you know? So, you know.
I think the next podcast should be on investing and how to invest for your future. That's something that
Yeah.
you can spit
That
some
or,
knowledge
you
on.
know,
Something about
You know, and tap in that way. People can start setting themselves up. You know, even at whatever age.
or men, fathers, you know, maybe we could talk about, hey man, through all of that, hey man, make some time for yourself like this. You know,
that. Yeah. You gotta. I think.
take one day out of the week. This is my time to just kind of self-reflect, to kind of unwind, not to go out there and drink and do something foolish and stupid, but we go to the gym whenever we can. We're having this time right here to talk, to socialize. Always make that little bit of time for yourself, and always make sure fathers, new fathers, allow your wife or girlfriend to take that time for herself.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Get out the house.
I got this. Yep.
Go hang out with one of your friends. I got this. Make that sacrifice.
Yep. It'll pay off.
Make
pay
that.
off.
We all need that little bit of time
Yeah.
to just reset. It is needed.
Nah, that's very true. And as we wrap up our conversation for today, hopefully, some of the things that we talked about today for new fathers is, going to be helpful for those of you that are watching this that this applies to. And, we're definitely reading the comments. If there's a specific area within just being a man in general, I mean, our purpose here is to just share our life experiences as men, fathers, family, stuff like that. We've been through a wide range of things. So if there's something specific that you guys would be interested in us sharing stories on, experiences and advice on how we either dealt with it or overcame it, let us know down in the comments. We're reading through there, and we do appreciate that, man. So I think we'll wrap up today's convo.
But all said and done, man, being a father is a gift and it's a blessing.
It is.
There's no other thing like it. So just keep on going.
It's a challenge, but it is rewarding.
Enjoy the journey.
When you're confused, look at the blessing God gave you. The blessings I got 4. The man got a lot more.
I got a baseball squad.
I got a vasectomy, so I'm good. We'll talk about that another time. More guys can do that. But hey, man, we're out here. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Peace out.